More of a collaborator, I repeated, my voice steady as my fingers gripped the chair's edge beneath the table. Across from me, my supervisor, Deborah Langston, sat in her sleek office overlooking downtown Seattle. Late 40s, tailored suit, smile too practiced. She leaned forward, her tones smooth as silk. Lydia, you're exceptional, but Sophie, she's got charisma. People gravitate toward her. She's just easier to work with. I was 38 now. I'd joined Pinnacle Consulting at 32, trading a research role for corporate strategy 6 years ago. 6 years of late-night analyses, emergency pitches, and reviving client deals others couldn't handle. I'd tripled our Pacific Northwest accounts, streamlined a project management system, and cut operational costs by $1.8 million. But Sophie, with her curated Instagram stories and motivational hashtags, was getting the promotion. Deborah fiddled with her pen, expecting gratitude, compliance. Instead, I placed a neat gray envelope on her desk. Thank you for the clarity, I said evenly. Here's my resignation, effective 2 weeks from today. Deborah's smile wavered. Lydia, hold on. Let's discuss this. No need, I replied. You were clear, and I prioritize results. What she didn't know, what no one had seen, was that while Sophie was winning hearts, I'd been quietly launching my own consulting firm. Registered 2 years ago, growing steadily, profitable since last quarter. I didn't lose today. I'd outgrown their game. If this resonates like it's your story, stick around, subscribe, follow, because what Lydia does next will show that stepping away isn't defeat, it's a power move. Something that'll make Deborah's promotion choice look like the misstep it was. Leaving her office, I felt the shift ripple through Pinnacle's open plan floor. Eyes followed, whispers paused, and I knew Sophie was already picturing her nameplate on my desk. But I moved with steady purpose, returning to my corner like it was any Tuesday. Tucked in that envelope was a second page, one that'd make Deborah rethink her morning espresso. Over the next 2 weeks, Sophie floated through the office, coffee in hand, basking in her moment. On day 5, she leaned over my partition, voice dripping with faux sympathy. Lyd, I hope you're not too upset. I know you really wanted that role. I met her eyes briefly, backing up 4 years of data, project metrics, process frameworks, client wins, not to steal, but to catalog. Every efficiency gained, every system I'd built, every success tied to my work. No hard feelings, Sophie, I said with a faint smile. You'll do great. She walked off, pleased. She had no idea what those wins rested on. 2 years ago, frustrated, I'd started coding a custom project optimization tool. On my own time, with my own resources. Last month, the patent was granted. That second page in my resignation outlined its impact. Millions in savings and client retention tied to my IP. 1 week later, an email from Carla Nguyen, CEO of Horizon Dynamics, our biggest rival, arrived. Over tea, she offered more than a job, equity, freedom, a vision. We've been watching you, Carla said, her voice warm but firm. You build what lasts. As I signed the partnership deal, something clicked inside me. This was recognition, not for optics, but for impact. On my last day at Pinnacle, 2 weeks after my resignation, as I handed in my keycard, Deborah called me back to her glass office. Her usual poise was fraying. Lydia, we need to talk about this report with your resignation, she said, clutching the pages tightly. Why didn't you mention this tool you developed? I smoothed my blazer and sat. I did. 3 pitches over the past 2 years. You said the focus was team morale, not tech. Her face paled as she skimmed the numbers, cost reductions, streamlined workflows, predictive analytics. This is patented? She asked faintly. I nodded. Filed last fall, approved last month, and I've joined Horizon Dynamics to scale it. Deborah's breath hitched. Horizon? Lydia, they're our top competitor. What about loyalty? I tilted my head. Loyalty? Like promoting Sophie's vibe over my track record? Or dismissing my ideas because I didn't plan enough team lunches? She started to speak, but I stood. If you'd valued impact over popularity, we wouldn't be here. We'll match their offer, she blurted. Director role, stay. I shook my head. It was never about titles. It's about respect. As I left, I heard her phone buzz with urgent calls, but the gap was already too wide. If you believe respect is earned, not begged, subscribe to see Lydia's next chapter, where she goes from overlooked to undeniable. The patent was mine, the contract signed. Sophie would soon learn that charm opens doors, but only substance keeps them open. That night, packing my desk, I found a note from Sophie. "Sorry you're leaving. Let's stay connected." I chuckled, tossed it in the trash. She'd hear about me soon enough. My first day at Horizon Dynamics 3 weeks later was a new world. No gray cubicles or petty Slack wars. My office faced Puget Sound, modern and open, with a nameplate, Lydia Harper, Partner, Systems Innovation. The real change wasn't the title, it was the trust. Carla held a company-wide meeting to introduce me, not with fluff, but with facts. My tool's impact, its proven savings, its potential. "Lydia's not here to fill a seat," Carla said. "She's here to redefine how we win." At Pinnacle, I was invisible. At Horizon, I was the blueprint. 3 months later, mid-workshop, my phone pinged. A text from Maya Patel, a sharp colleague still at Pinnacle. "Check the news. Big shakeup." I opened a headline. "Pinnacle Consulting loses 25% of clients after Q3 operational failures." The piece was scathing. Missed deadlines, budget overruns, 2 major clients gone. It called Pinnacle's systems chaotic, reliant on undocumented processes. A client I'd managed, Elena Ruiz of Novellum Corp., was quoted. "Pinnacle used to handle complex projects flawlessly. Now they can't meet basic deliverables. It's like their core vanished." I smiled. I was that core. Another text from Maya. "Sophie's spiraling in the break room." I leaned back, sunlight streaming through my window. I didn't need vengeance, I had outcomes. If you've ever been sidelined for someone flashier but less capable, subscribe, because Lydia's ascent is just beginning, and what's next will reshape the field. Sophie had coasted on buzzwords and smiles, but now her limits were exposed. Deborah, who bet on flair over function, was watching her choice implode. Meanwhile, at Horizon, my tool wasn't just working, it was transforming. Project cycles dropped by 48%, client retention soared, KPIs glowed. Carla greenlit a company-wide rollout, and 2 Fortune 500 firms were in talks to license my system 6 months into my tenure. One rainy Monday, 6 months after leaving Pinnacle, I arrived at Horizon to find Carla by my desk, holding the Seattle Business Journal. "Seen this?" she asked. The headline, "Pinnacle Consulting faces urgent overhaul amid client exodus, system failures." I nodded. "They tried rebuilding my tool in-house," I said. "They didn't get the logic behind it." Carla's smile was sharp. "Exactly why the board voted you in as Executive Vice President of Strategic Growth, effective next week. You're not just optimizing, you're steering our future." Warmth spread through me. This was what respect felt like. Not cheers for fitting in, but trust in what I'd built. That afternoon, an email from Deborah hit my inbox. Subject, regret. "I assume you've seen Pinnacle's news. I was wrong to overlook your work. It's the biggest mistake I've made. The board knows what you created, what we lost. I stepped down last week. Sophie left a month ago. Turns out deliverables don't bend to charisma." I read it twice, a flicker of vindication settling in. Her words continued. "It's too late to fix this, but you were right. Impact matters. I wish I'd seen it sooner. Best. Deborah once, her words might have stirred something. Relief, closure. Not now." In my Horizon office, my patent hung framed, beside a plaque for our record-breaking quarter earned 5 months in. A Forbes article on my shelf, published last month, named me a top innovator in tech strategy. Deborah's email was a postscript, not a prize. I replied, "Thank you, Deborah, you're right. Impact matters. Wishing you well." I hit send, then scanned my space. Every achievement here was earned, carved out, undeniable. The next day, I called a team meeting. The room buzzed with coders, strategists, creatives, no one here for show. Before we dive into our next rollout, I said, let me tell you a story. Not about systems or data, but about value, seeing it, owning it, and never letting anyone dim it. Eyes locked on, heads nodded. They got it. We were building on truth, not pretense. That night, driving past Pinnacle's fading sign, I paused at a light. Their logo looked tired, a for-lease notice taped to a window, signaling downsizing 7 months after my exit. No smugness stirred in me, just gratitude. Thankful they didn't see me. Thankful they ignored my work. Thankful because their dismissal freed me to build bigger. Sometimes rejection is a gift in disguise. Sometimes being too driven is what makes you unstoppable. My phone buzzed, a text from Maya. Pinnacle's board asked if you'd consider CEO. I typed back, thanks Maya, I'm where I belong. Success isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right. It's standing tall when no one else does, refusing to shrink, choosing to rise. At home in my Capitol Hill loft, I thought of the other Lydias out there, quiet doers, overlooked for not playing the loud game. Maybe this story finds one of them. Maybe it's the nudge they need to stop seeking approval and start creating without it. Rejection isn't the end, it's a pivot. You take their silence, their doubts, and turn them into systems, solutions, legacies that scream what they couldn't see. You were always more than they could hold. In my home office, reviewing licensing deals for my tool, peace settled deep. Above my desk, framed, was Deborah's old jab from a year ago. You're too focused on outcomes. She wasn't wrong. That focus built this. Leadership, impact, a place I earned. If you're still here, thank you. This isn't just my story. It's for everyone told they're too much, too serious, or not enough in the wrong ways. If you see yourself in this, comment below. Share where you're at in your journey. I know how isolating it is to deliver results and still be passed over. I've lived it. You're not unseen. You're not overreaching by wanting respect for your work. If this moved you, subscribe, not just for what's next, but to join a community that values quiet strength, earned wins, resilience, without flash. We're building for people like us. My advice? Stop waiting for permission. Stop dimming to fit their ease. Their failure to see you isn't your failure to shine. Use their doubt as fuel, their silence as room to create. Keep building. One day, they'll see what they lost. By then, you'll be in a place you built, better and yours. This is your moment. Don't prove them wrong. Prove yourself right.